Hello, everybody. Ooh, hi. Yeah, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream at you guys this morning. Yeah, it's a little hot. All right, we're gonna dive in. It's a little bit after 11. My name's Jeff Ware. I'm on the board of the Brewers Association, and I'm happy to introduce our speakers this morning and talk a little bit about merch. Morgan Reynolds began her career in the craft beer and hospitality at the age of 20 as a hostess at Church Beerworks in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A very cool place. Her passion for the industry led her to hospitality roles across the country, including Yellowstone National Park, Sun Valley, Idaho, Montana, and the Florida Keys. In 2016, Morgan joined the opening team of Big Slide Brewing in Lake Placid, New York, and worked her way up to general manager in 2020. She manages the merchandise programs for Big Slide Brewing in Lake Placid Pub and Brewery. In 2024, Morgan became the general manager of RiverTrail Beerworks, where she is now managing operations and a third merchandise program. Cody K, is with Cooley Group, where he specializes in branding merchandise for the craft beer industry. Having worked in the beverage industry for various capacities since 2013, he brings a unique perspective on how merchandise can strengthen brand identity and drive customer engagement. Cody works closely with breweries and brands to develop retail merchandise that connects with their communities. I will let them take it away from here, and please enjoy. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Can you hear me? We're good. Okay. So what we're talking about today, best practices of in-house merchandise sales. Morgan, Cody. So a few things that we're going to focus on, just kind of kickstarting your program, different products, different varieties, maybe quantities you might want to order those in, inventory management, best ways to display, promos, discounts, and then how to get rid of some seasonal merchandise that you might be sitting on. Okay, so starting your program. This is the hardest part, right? So there's a few things you really need to consider when you're going through this. Number one is picking your vendors. Great way to do that, go out to other breweries, find things you like, talk to them, see who are they buying things from, connect with people at shows like this, Cody, for instance. You really want to have that personal relationship with them and someone that you feel like you can talk to and that you can trust. And then the bottom line obviously is super important. So you'll want to compare prices, shipping prices, especially right now. Have those meetings in person. They'll bring everything to you, so you can get a good feel for what everything feels like. The online stores can only show you so much. Colors are not true to your screen, and I have found that out the hard way. So definitely you want to see stuff in person. And then that way you can also see in person all the different application methods for your clothing. Once you have things picked out, right, start slow and don't overbuy. Don't see something and be like, I'm going to order 144 pieces of this, especially if it's something that's pricey. Start with small quantities, and if it takes off from there, you can go up. Take your salesperson's advice and use their knowledge. They know what's selling in our markets, right? So if they tell you that hey, this hoodie is doing really, really well, listen to them, try it, but start small. Glassware, headwear, and apparel, those are the big three things, right? So start there before you start jumping into other little products. We want to stick with mid-range to upper range quality. And Cody will touch more on that. And I think this is a really important one, especially when you're first starting out, to use your official artwork. Keep your logo true to what it is. Sometimes you'll go into places and they'll have 6 different logos on things, and it's hard to get that kind of cohesive look. You want someone to look at it and be like, I know that logo, right? So start with that before you start going out with like other kind of random graphics. And then local print shops are your friend. So if you have local companies in your area, they're super great for small runs of things, special event items, that kind of stuff. You can often pick up your orders, so you're saving on shipping costs there. And you'll get stuff quicker a lot of the times too. It can definitely be more expensive with the smaller companies, but in the long run, you will save a little bit of money on the shipping costs. But they will offer often less methods of application. So if you just need a screen printed t-shirt or an embroidered hat, they're really easy ways to go. Product varieties. So we have 3 different breweries, and between the 3 different breweries, we sell a ton of different stuff. We probably have 60 to 75 different SKUs, if you will, of different items. What we find best that works for us is to do gender neutral items, as far as like t-shirts and hoodies go, and then to always have like one women's cut t-shirt, right? Women will buy the gender neutral stuff, so we really only stock like one women's specific cut t-shirt, and that seems to work really well for us. Glassware, koozies, silly pints. We, at RiverTrail, that's our newest location, and all of our glassware that we use behind our bar, with the exception of like our cocktail glasses and one beer glass, has our logo on it. So we also sell those in all of our gift shops as well. The silly pints, if you guys don't have silly pints in your program, get them. They sell unbelievably well, and I'll show you that in a couple of slides. I have like a breakdown of all of our products and how well they sell. Stickers and tin tackers, people love these. Everybody wants to buy a sticker. Have several. You know, they take up 0 space to store them. You sell them for $1, $2, $3. People are going to buy them, and then your brand is everywhere they go. Hats are another one that are really great to have, tons of different styles. Storing them is really easy. You can get them in low quantities, you can get them in high quantities, and they don't take up that much space to store them. So why not have 6, 7, 10 different hats? I think at RiverTrail I have 9 different styles at least, and each one of them sell, and they hardly take up any space. And then we have some other like area specific items. So like where I'm located, we are in the Adirondacks, right? Our town hosts Ironmans, where lots of camping, that kind of stuff. So we have found that things like the silly pints do really well with the water, right? We've sold bike jerseys because we're an Ironman town. Whatever you can find that will make it unique to your area, people will find to be very cool. This year, we're picking up something that's a first for us, and we're picking up like the SPF shirts. You know, you see a lot of those on vacation, people out on the water. They're not very expensive on our end, and people are taking that everywhere with them, and now it's going on vacation with them. So people are seeing your brand not only in your area, but all over. So this is a little graph for RiverTrail in particular. Our merchandise accounted for 4% of our overall sales in the year of 2025. It was our first real year in business, first full year. So the clothing was 30%. We sold 2,645 pieces of clothing, right? Hats was 14%, 1,213 hats. Glassware is a huge chunk also, 30%, 2,508. 24% of that, silly pints. And then the other miscellaneous category that accounted for almost 30%, that's all of our Like we have golf simulators, so we sell golf tees, golf balls, golf towels. That's all of your stickers, your can openers, your koozies. So we sold a pretty good chunk of that too. And then on the side there, I have a little breakdown of like hoodies versus t-shirts. Our hoodies, 1,100, t-shirts 1,500. So like, what is that? 43-57 split. So it's a good little split there. Lake Placid Pub, this is our oldest location. We're 30 years this year. So that accounts for 2% of our overall sales, kind of a similar distribution. The biggest difference here is that the hoodies and the t-shirts sales, there were 85% t-shirts. So that was pretty cool. And then with the glassware, we were, I think it was 11% Silly Pints for that location. And then Big Slide, we're at 3% of sales. Again, similar split. T-shirts better than hoodies. And then Silly Pints, 19% of our glassware sales. So they really do sell really well. The next couple of slides, I just have some examples of some of our merchandise. So this is our RiverTrail location. We have a few different hoodies. We have like 4 different hoodies right now. We have a crew neck. We have that one women's t-shirt. And then I have 10 other t-shirts or so. And they all sell pretty well. Then we have some of our golf stuff there, the golf balls and whatnot. A few different hats. Like I said, we sell like 10 different varieties of hats, and then winter hats as well. This is the Big Slide. This is some of our current stuff and some of our older stuff. So like I said, bike jerseys. Notice how the logos are very consistent kind of throughout. One thing that's really cool and that you can work with your graphic designers on for your logos is getting supplemental artwork so that it still is complementary of your brand, but is still you. So we use like different parts of the logo, like the red t-shirt here has the ski jump on the back, but it just makes it stand out from like the rest of our logos in the hop. Just a little bit more. And then this is our Lake Placid location. We have a few different versions of this logo that we use, but they all have the same general feel to them. And then one of our biggest logos that we use is the Ubu logo right there. That goes back to our flagship beer there. You guys have any questions so far? No? Okay. Yep.
Do you think that like something like SPF shirts or the Silly Pints would be like specifically like it's regional, in a sense, like you said, like you have a place where you're doing a lot of outdoor stuff. Do you think that it's more applicable to specific brewers in certain regions or areas versus others? Like, if you're a brewery that's like on a lake versus somewhere like in the city, may not be as useful?
Yeah, that's a fair question for sure. But I do think that our customers can find a use for all of those things. They go on vacation, you're going to reach for what you already have to bring it with you. Like an SPF shirt, people hike in them, they swim in them, they boat in them, they bike in them, that kind of a thing. I think that there is a use for all of those, but they might for sure sell better in a location that has that kind of advantage, if you will.
Like the Silly Pints in general, like specifically, is that do you think that is something that also would sell better, like a more outdoorish vibe?
Maybe, but I would argue that, we have children that come in every single day, pick them up and throw them on the floor.
Okay.
And then their parents are like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, this something like this, like my kid can't break it, like this is great. So I think that they will do well kind of anywhere. I'm not a Silly Pint rep, but they do incredibly well for us. You know, it's just that one thing, you don't necessarily see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone, I think that sells them can attest to you that they sell pretty well. I mean, to make up a quarter of our glassware sales is pretty significant.
Yeah.
So.
One more question.
Sure.
So, our brewery, like yours, is named after the town that we're in,
Mhm.
the Lake Placid one. And, you know, we get a lot of tourism, people coming in. And our thought was people are buying our brewery swag, not just because they want to know the brewery, but they want to have the town they went to be part of their history. Are you seeing that? I noticed that your t-shirt sales in Lake Placid were significantly different share than what they were in the other breweries. Are you seeing the Lake Placid and the location driving the types of merch that you're getting or deciding to put on? Does that have any influence?
With the name being there?
The fact that you have Lake Placid as a destination, does that influence the type of merchandise that you choose to sell and the sales strength? Again, going back to your t-shirt,
Yeah.
85%, that's...
I mean, like I can see that being a decision. I mean, for us, I think one of the biggest things is just to buy things that we know are going to sell. And putting that Lake Placid front and center, I think probably does help a little bit. We actually had our Big Slide Brewery logo redone to include Lake Placid, New York on it. And so that's on all of our newer stuff now. And then it also, like having that on there, like the pub and brewery logo, obviously you just know where it is. But then adding that location to it, I think does make it more of a souvenir, if you will. That maybe they'll buy our t-shirt instead of buying the t-shirt from the t-shirt store on Main Street. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think displaying your merchandise is one of the most important parts of all of this, right? You can have really cool stuff. If people can't see it, they're not going to buy it, right? So it's super important when you keep your merchandise displays that they're in high traffic locations, right? You want people to see all of your stuff. You want to make sure that your displays are very well stocked. Not only stocked, clean, and organized, right? It's really hard to shop when things are messy. And then you want people to be able to touch and feel your merchandise, right? That's the easiest way to get them to buy it, is that they touch this really soft sweatshirt and they're like, well, that's cozy. Like, I want to wear that, right? Hats, all kinds of stuff like that. Like your glassware, your everything. Like, people should be able to touch it and like feel the use out of it. Like, then they can picture how am I going to use this? Is this going to fit in with my life? Am I going to wear this? Instead of just shopping online or, you know?
Question.
Yeah.
How do you guys have an issue with theft?
Say that again?
Theft. They're touching it.
Oh, theft. I mean, you're always going to have theft, right? But that's a little price to pay to have your logo out there, right? The amount of theft, like, you might think that you're going to have a lot of theft, and I'll get to that part, but the amount of theft it's very, very low. During like high traffic times of the year, I might reduce what I have, what's tempting to take. But at the end of the day, you still want it to be out there for people.
And I can add to that.
Yeah.
One thing that I would recommend too, if you have a concern like that, would be still at least showing some of the product out there for the consumer to touch and feel, but perhaps even limiting the amount that is on the floor of stock of those, where, you know, you could even have just a nice little sign, you know, ask your server or, you know, ask your bar manager for your specific size and they can get it for you. So that way there's not a huge amount of stock that's just sitting there that can easily walk away, if that's a concern.
Yeah. I took a little video for you. So RiverTrail is our third location. It's Our merchandise area was very, very well thought out after learning lessons from our previous locations. So this is just a little walkthrough. So this is just coming in like our front main entrance. So you're just immediately brought into the merchandise area, and like that's where the restrooms are. So everybody who's going to the restroom has to make a trip through that merchandise area, right? They want to buy retail beer, they have to make a trip through that merchandise area. People will go through this spot 3 or 4 times on their visit to us, and each time they stop and they look and they touch. And it's right by our hostess stand too, so while people are waiting for a table, they're kind of a captive audience. This is one of our other locations. This is our smallest location. So we had to get kind of creative. And you guys can do this too. You know, we just got simple metal racks and we built this little display. So you can hang stuff and then all of the sizes are folded underneath of them. Then we have another small rack that has, you know, just a variety of our glassware, stickers. At this point in time, we were selling like dog collars and koozies, and everything was just kind of in a little baskets right there, but super like easily accessible. And then like with our to-go beer cooler and the hats. So the more you can kind of tile that stuff together and bring people to that spot, again, this is located very closely to the bathrooms and the front entrance, so people are constantly hitting it. It's only going to increase the sales for you.
What's your experience between print and etched glassware? I noticed you have etched, I don't know if you have print.
So, yeah, we have both.
Okay.
The printed glassware, sometimes you have to be careful on what type of print you get, because sometimes you run into now it's hand wash only. But if you have just your standard pint glass with your standard logo on it, they tend to hold up pretty well. The etched glassware is cool. It elevates the quality a little bit more. And then depending on the type of glass you can get them where they're like nucleated in the bottom. So you can like we have a glass at Big Slide that has our logo nucleated in the bottom. So it just keeps the bubbles going, you know? And it's just like a really cool added touch, added value to it.
What do the people prefer purchasing? Are they preferring the etch or the print? Do you see any, like your t-shirt, hoodie switch?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to like what the glass is itself. I mean, I think that overall, your standard mixing pint glass sells the best. But for those who want maybe something a little bit more fancy, most of our stuff is printed. We do metallic print on some Tiku glasses, and those do really well. But over time, you kind of lose it in the glass washer. So sometimes etched might be the way to go on those more higher end glasses, just to maintain the quality of the logo. So this is our the other location, Lake Placid Pub. We went through a renovation back during COVID where we lost our original gift shop, so we had to get a little bit more creative on like, okay, what are we going to do now? So we got a little shed and we put it outside, and it's in the parking lot. It's right by the main entrance. In the summertime, we have like clothing displays outside. It's very Adirondack, if you will. Yeah, you know, play to your audience. So this is where I wanted to talk about the theft question. So this location is very unique. It has a self-checkout in it. So people can just pay with their credit cards right in the shed, and they don't have to come inside to do so unless they want to pay with cash. But even this being like an unattended, self-contained unit, the theft that we see is still very low, and we would have to have a lot of theft to like lose money on the amount of money we would spend on paying someone to be in there. You know what I mean? So the amount of theft it's pretty low, even when people aren't being watched. At this location, it's pretty important for us to leave merchandise kind of around the brewery also. You know, you can fit it in, you can hang it behind your bar, you can hang it from your rafters if you have, you know, like cool things like mugs or something to hang. But just kind of like plug and play it around as decoration throughout the brewery is pretty helpful as well. Inventory management is something that is really big for us. At my particular brewery, like at RiverTrail, I'm the one who does inventory. I do it every 2 to 3 weeks. I touch everything, I look at everything, I count everything. And that's really the best way for us to be able to just keep everything stocked. I order merchandise as soon as I'm starting to get low on something. I'll go ahead and place that order just so that I definitely, like, I don't want to run out. I don't want to run out of sizes. And then you'll also see if there is theft, you'll see it there. But and then you can adjust if you need to. The restocking of everything, like we said, is very important. Keep your merchandise area stocked and organized and clean. Make it somebody's job. You know, make it your hostess's job, either in the morning, at the end of their shift. Put it on your morning manager if you need to. You know, if you don't have like a hostess or someone, but it needs to be someone's job and it needs to be paid attention to. If it's not there, you can't sell it. And it's pretty easy revenue to pick up because people want to support your brand. That's why they're there. One thing to Cody's point about not keeping a lot of stuff on the floor, it's important that your sizes are out there because when your customers are there and it's busy, they don't want to bother someone to have to go upstairs or in the back to find a size for you. So that's just keep it stocked. So in-house promos, combo pricing, sales, souvenir glasses, these are all very easy ways for you to increase your sales. To be honest, we don't do a ton of this, but it is very helpful. When you do combo pricing like hats and t-shirts, do a deal on that. Souvenir glasses, you know, buy this beer for $3 extra, you get to keep the glass. And then sales, great way to unload extra merchandise that you might have left over or something that's just moving slowly. Inevitably, you're going to pick something that doesn't move. You take a chance on it, you might end up putting it on sale, but depending on your markup, if you sold half of it and then you put it on sale, you've already paid for it. So, you know, putting it on sale sometimes is just the best way to get through it. One thing that we do that we have a unique opportunity to do is that we do discounts from location to location. So it's like on their receipt, they can bring in a receipt from one place to get a discount at the other place. So that is also helpful. And then unloading seasonal merchandise. If you don't have the room to display things season to season, just make sure that you're not ordering that much. Don't over-order things, especially when you're getting close to the end of the season. End of the season sales, great way. Do a garage sale in May for your winter goods. Same thing in the fall, you know, for your summer stuff, if you have that like very specific stuff. It's a great way to do social media promotions, you know, make it a contest, get this little merchandise package, that kind of a thing. And then your staff, right? You want your staff to be wearing your stuff. This is a great way to unload like the rest of your t-shirts that just maybe aren't selling. Give it to them as their uniforms. Sell it to them at cost. Do a little friends and family rate, maybe something like that, just to make sure that you're not sitting on it. But one thing that I definitely want to point out with this is that people buy hoodies year-round, right? People buy winter hats year-round. So if you have the space to be able to keep all of that stuff out, do. Even if you drastically reduce the amount of it that you have out, maybe just have 2 of these hats out. But keep it out, because especially if someone is like a tourist in your area, they're not going to use it then, but maybe they want to use it this winter, that kind of a thing. So if you can leave it out, leave it out. I've reached the end. So. It's Cody's turn. Sure.
What is your, and anybody else, who supplies your tin tacker? Who's your merch supplier for that? Tin tacker?
Tin tackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, taproom tackers.
Yeah.
See if it works. It's a nice skyline. Yeah, I just used it. There we go. Hi, everybody. Cody K. A lot of this is going to be very similar to Morgan's presentation because it's truly just a testament to their success. They are doing a lot of things, if not everything, correct in the industry. So marketing revenue, you got to think of your merchandising program as two things. It's a great marketing effort. People buy your merch. They're going to be wearing it. If they like it, they're going to wear it around. They're going to go on vacation, to your point. They're going to go to the grocery store. Everybody's going to see your brand. So not only is it added marketing, but also added value for your revenue. So creating your strategy is huge. It shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be strategic. So, planning it, elevate your brand, elevate your products, localize it. One gentleman asked a question about, putting on your location for your brewery. That is huge. A lot of people that are visiting that area, they're going to buy that merch. They want a piece of that local area that they're visiting. So we've seen that does very, very well in the industry. Investing in quality, not saying everything that you buy is the top premium product, but to your point, good and better for your products. You want your clients to, or consumers to, pick out that merchandise that's going to be a good quality, nice soft feel. They're going to want to wear it. But embrace your location. That's huge. Selling your merch, displays. Have any of your staff upselling. Each time. If you don't have a beautiful walk-in place like RiverTrail does, there's other ways that you can leverage in having your staff, push that upsell. Hey, have you checked out our hoodies? See the new hats that we have, whatnot. Planning your merch around similar how you plan your brewing schedule is key to successful merch programs. Creating a calendar for those seasonals, special events, planning your inventory. You have your busy times of the year. If you're a destination location, you're near the lakes, you're up in the Adirondacks, what have you. Plan around those busier times of year. We see the trends, you see the trends when you have a lot of staff on for those. Planning ahead helps. It secures your lower price points. With planning ahead, you have all of those sizes. You're not running out. You're able to secure better pricing, and it can actually save you by planning ahead. You can save on some freight as well if there's a concern with freight. One of the biggest things, if you don't have it, you can't sell it. So after this, I have a QR at the end, and if you would like a template, I've created an Excel template that will help plan and strategize that merch program for the year out. So it kind of makes it a lot easier to plug and play, what you're looking to do. Premium merch performs better. There are statistics to it. There's a 70% of consumers saying the products quality reflects that brand's reputation. I think that really is a positive impact with having quality product of your merch and products that you're offering aside of your beer. I mean, people come to your breweries, they want to spend the money, they're buying a premium beer. Why not have premium merch to go with it? There's tons and tons of cutting edge designs. One of the most popular one is that tone on tone. We do 3D embroidery, full dye sublimation, full customized stitched, custom patches from rubber molded. We have dye sublimated patches, you name it. There's everything out there to fit your brand, fit your style. Vintage and private labels. Private label branding is another way to really set your brewery apart. So you actually have your brewery name as the neck tag. So that's actually, you can see in the far right over there on that slide, those ones I did for a distillery, but it's just a showcase. So, it really gives it that higher level of feel with having your own line of clothing. So that's a really nice added touch. Puff inks, tone on tone, that's all the trends right now. Specific hat wear, ask any of your marketing professionals and merchandising professionals for the help. Some samples. And to the point, again, leverage your geographical location. If you're cycling, if you're up in the Adirondacks, if you're near the cities and you host concerts, concert style apparel, different little things. If you're near the water, floater bands, there's tons of little things that you can get that really leverage your location. So sell your merch, create visible displays, teach your staff how to upsell, consider adding e-com. If someone is at your location and they just didn't pick up that piece, they can go on your site, have a link to your site, and they can pick that up there and have that shipped out. Maybe they wanted to get something for a relative. If you run an e-com store that is special, one-offs, there's no inventory for it. You don't have to stock it. You don't have to have personnel that ship it out. That's what's really nice. They click it, print it, and it's gone, just like that. So ask me to learn more. That's me and my avatar. The scan will set up a document. You can get a free spec sample from me if you're looking for hats. There is a planning document that you can get from there as well. So I look forward to answering any questions.
This question actually might be more for Morgan, but specifically with like the Ubu shirt, do you find like a good amount of sales if you're promoting a specific like style of the beer? There's like a flagship, does that sell well? Or is it,
it definitely sells well to those people who love that particular product. It honestly wasn't until more recently that we started having dedicated labels for things. And so one of ours was for our giant double IPA that we got the label, we printed it on the back of the shirt, and then it had the brewery name on the front. That shirt has sold really well for us. So if someone really enjoys that particular product, they might gravitate towards that. I wouldn't recommend doing several of those items, you know? But if you have a flagship beer that has a cool label or a really cool name, put it on a shirt. If it doesn't sell, give it to your staff, but try it. You know, you won't know until you try it.
You mentioned the premium merge, but is there a sort of price threshold that you try to stay under? I mean,
Sure.
I was talking to somebody and the guy just threw out Rick actually like, oh, go buy $100 sweatshirt. And I'm like, whoa.
Yes, if the market is there for that, you know, typically what I've seen in the breweries, and perhaps Morgan can speak to that as well, your premium higher end, I mean, you're going to get $60 for, like, say, a hoodie, right? The premium product is going to be something that's very unique, decorated. It may cost a little bit more to get. But that's the thing too, is that if you add that to your lineup, and we were discussing that earlier, you're going to have lower cost, you know, screen printed t-shirts, quick turnaround stuff that's a low cost for you. You make a higher margin on those. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, you'll have some premium merch that goes in there that people will buy. It may be a lower margin for you, but it adds to the overall revenue.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
yeah.
So what is that? Tell me what, in your case, what is the premium or sort of price?
So in my experience, there is, I feel like, a cap on how much someone will spend on an item in a brewery. And where I find that cap to be is around $60 for an item.
And could that potentially be different if you are, I wouldn't say we're in a tourist area, we're more regular?
Yeah, I mean, for certain items like hoodies, I think the norm is between that $45 and $65 range. You know, you're going to spend more money buying hoodies. Like one of my most popular hoodies, we pay, I think, $34 for it. That's our cost. I sell it for $55. But I have t-shirts that cost me $12 that I sell for $28. And hats that cost me $12 that I sell for $25. Or $8 and I sell for $25. So you make it up. You know, you have really high margins on some things and low margins on other things. But that's where your like strategic amount of, okay, how many of this am I going to buy? And with certain levels, you'll get price cuts on them too. So it might be 34 for 1 to 24, but it's 29 for 144, like that kind of thing. So you just have to, you know.
I didn't know if there's also like some menu science to it that if you anchor them with call it an $80 sweatshirt. Well, they might be shocked by that and not do, but all of a sudden something else. Well, that doesn't look as bad as that $80 sweatshirt, so I will grab the $45 t-shirt that feels a little bit better. You see what I mean? I didn't know if it was kind of a dynamic where
So
you might be throwing one out there to sort of raise the rest of them, but I'm curious what your sort of thresholds were for premium.
Sure. Yeah, and the premium is a unique decoration is one of the big things that set you apart. So it is always good though, like to your point, for a premium item, maybe have one that's just one step below, so they make their decision that way.
But like also, you don't want to spend $35 your cost on a hoodie that has a one color screen print on it. Make it worth it, right? Like these 3D print hoodies, I sell these at all 3 locations and they kill it. It adds a little bit to the cost, but the perceived value is there for it because it looks awesome and people are going to buy that. Where if I put it next to a $55 one color screen print, not so much. Hi, Jim.
What's people's takes on, I guess it's birth related, on logo glassware being used in the brewery? Well, on the one side, you get the idea that maybe it walks out if you logo the glassware, like that. On the other side, you get free marketing for your brewery and someone's house and everything else like that. And then obviously you can sell the glassware.
Well, more importantly, we live in a digital age, right? So that logo on everybody's glass is in every photo every person shares. So
So you're proud of putting your logo on.
the cost of maybe losing that glass and someone taking it home is super minimal, and the free marketing you get out of it is insane.
What do you think about Mark?
Yeah.
Any other questions?